whatever's in this cup, man, I'm not trying to say anything, but this, whatever's in here is just, it's just, man, this is good. This is good. All right, we're gonna put that away for a second. All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to my desk. Today, we're gonna talk about portfolios. And basically gonna go over a few do's, a few maybe nots, and answer a couple questions from Twitter, okay? Let's just jump into it. We're gonna have fun on this one. These are some things that I think help your portfolio shine. Show off your personalities. You have a chance to let people get to know who you are just by browsing your website. Think about it like a company, like a brand, you know? Like you want to show your personality, what you believe in, and things like that. So use your .com, your portfolio, as a way to show off who you are. And Justine here has the perfect example of that. Just a beautiful portfolio all around. But the main thing I want to talk about here is how Justine uses these awesome photos throughout the site that just shows off her personality. I mean, look, Justine seems like the most fun person to work with, to have around the office. Not only is Justine super talented once you go check out the work and read the articles Justine has written, but it just shows that she's fun, you know? And I get to know her personality, and that's someone that I want around the team. Here's an example. Let's say I have a site just like Justine's, and then let's take this exact site, take off the photos, maybe make the copy a little worse written with not a lot of personality in it. Like down here, Justine has like, don't be a stranger, let's connect. Like, let's take that off, and like, there's more, you know, but wait, there's more. Let's take some of that off. And then you put the portfolio side by side, same work. Who are you gonna hire? You're more than likely going to go with Justine just because you get a sense of who Justine is and that personality through the type, through the photos, and just the way the portfolio is built. That's what I'm saying by show your personality. Let me know who you are, not just your work, because people don't just hire your work. They're hiring you. It's not always about the work. Sometimes it is, but usually it's both, the work and you. The work just gets the client in the door. You help sell it. You help prove that you're a team player. You help show who you are and why you can do the work through your personality and why you're gonna be fun to be around the office and somebody you want to be a part of this team. Keep that in mind. Now, if you're somebody that doesn't feel comfortable showing your photos online or, you know, talking about yourself personally online, that's perfectly okay. You can show your personality through fun illustrations and other types of design elements, but also, and more importantly, through the words you decide to use on the website. So if you don't want to show your photos to kind of shine your personality, you have the perfect chance to do it through text, to do it through your copywriting. Take advantage of that. A perfect example of that is Joe Coleman's website. Look at this. When you land on Joe Coleman's site, Joe Coleman is a copywriter, okay? So when you land there, look at this, just a simple paragraph, but again, he's a copywriter, so he is showing text. But the way you get his personality is once you start to play with the website, it's like you drag it over to less of a hard sell. You're like, so yeah, I'm a freelance copywriter, what of it, you know, what you got, you know? And as you drag it a little bit more, it starts adding some more fun words and it gets a little crazy. And then the more you drag it to the hard sell, it just gets wild and fun and like all this stuff just starts happening like an infomercial type thing. Just text. That's all that's happening here. But Joe, you totally get Joe's personality. He's like hilarious, I bet. And he's super good at what he does. So it doesn't have to be photography. It doesn't have to be photos. Show off your strengths. And what I mean by that is it's very simple. Lynn Fisher is an incredible designer and developer. One of my favorite websites. Almost every year she puts out a new one. But she likes to focus on interesting responsiveness. So if ever I'm going to do a site that is like heavy response, it's no brainer, Lynn Fisher, no brainer. Like, watch this. As you make the page smaller, it just, the clothes get smaller. There's always something going on. That is so good. And you get Lynn's personality through the Bob's Burgers meme here. It's so good. And like, look at this. I want to show you the site last year, or 2017, sorry. And I shared this a while ago on Twitter. Again, as you scroll, like, everything changes. How good is that? It's so simple. It's the simple things. It doesn't have to be all crazy and wild. Like, awesome. This is so good. All right. Be unique. Be unique. Check out this beautiful thing right here. Are you kidding me? I don't even have to say anything. This is awesome. I want to hire Matthew just because this is awesome. Just because Matthew made me smile. This is incredible. I don't want to see anything else. It works. Like, look at this. It's like beautiful. What in the world am I looking at right now? Okay, hurry and show your work. This is something that so many people miss, and it's really frustrating. Like, you go to a website and it's just a bunch of text and like all this random stuff, and then like there's no work absolutely anywhere. If there is, it's all the way on the bottom of the page. Sometimes it's just text links for the work. It's just like, show the work. Show me what you do. You know, if this is a portfolio, I mean, doesn't that make sense? Altastic here is a great example of a beautifully designed, simple website that gets to the work where you need to get to the work. The work doesn't always have to be the first thing. I do like it when it's more up top, but I like it more when you're showing your personality, which is what Altastic here is doing with this beautiful design. And then it gets into who Megan is, and then you get to the work, and then you get into more details about what, you know, events and workshops that Megan's a part of, and it just keeps going, keeps going. I mean, this is awesome. This is the perfect example of about where you should start showing your work. You can show it anytime before then too, but you really don't want to show it any further down than all this. And a lot of people do that. They just have all this text and stuff and then finally show their work, or their work's off hidden on another page called work. And it's just like, really? I don't get it. If it works for you, that's awesome. You're making me click on too much stuff and scroll on too much stuff just to see the work. So even though it's very important that you show your personality somehow, you got to get to the work. You just got to get to the work. Simple is okay. Your site doesn't have to be crazy and wild. Like, look at this beautiful website right here. You get to know who he is. You see a photo. You kind of get the personality a little bit. You scroll down. You got a little bit of text of what he does. And you got the work. I like how it's divided into products that he's created versus products that are client related. I think that's great. And it's just a beautiful, super simple, which is hard to do, website. I think it's fantastic. Now, you don't have to go as wild and unique as Nathan Riley does, though I think this style is incredible. It's so fun just to explore and, you know, discover things. You know, he's got his About Me right here. This is super good. You totally get Nathan's personality through the design and through like the wild experimentation of things. But you can get by with something, you know, like this that is simply laid out, not a lot of action going on, a lot of beautiful design elements everywhere. You could get by with something like this with a lot of white space. It's beautifully designed. But do you see what's happening? Everyone is doing roughly the same kind of layout because it works, where you have text, sometimes have photo telling you who you are, showing your personality kind of right out of the bat, and then you get into a little bit of more text, and then your work. So it's just a method that works. You can do it, twist it all kinds of ways you want, but if you include the specific things in there, you can't really go wrong. Simple is okay. Use Dribbble, use Behance, use Semplice, use Squarespace, Wix, Webflow. I mean, we could go on and on and on of all these sites that are really easy to use, but Dribbble and Behance are probably the easiest because I believe they're all still free. If someone today asked me, hey, can I see some of your work? I just send them my Dribbble profile, but I'm not really looking for work at the moment. Like if I was, I would create, a really cool portfolio. But I've been using this as my portfolio because I like how simple it is, and I like how just out of the way everything is. But it has my work in here. Sure, it's small, but you can always click in and get, a bigger view of things. It works as a portfolio. If you don't have the time or the capability, use Dribbble, use Behance. I mean, it works. It's not what it's meant for, sure, but it works. Pick a focus. Pick something to focus on in your portfolio. It's okay that you're able to do a lot of different types of design, like print design, editorial, illustration, and you do painting, and you do photography and video and logos, and you can do everything. That's awesome. But you don't have to show constantly that you do everything. It's really hard for the client to understand what you do. No one really comes to someone, sometimes, but not usually, come to a designer that can do it all. Usually those are the clients that don't have a lot of money, so be wary. But clients like to see focus. They like to know that you're the best at this, or you're the best at this, or you're really strong at this. Like, this is a perfect example. Imagine if this portfolio had logos mixed in here and illustrations mixed in here and, whatever else. It's just a bunch of mess. It just wouldn't feel the same. Like, as you scroll through this and you see that it's all just this beautiful grid website design and beautiful typography and just like this really creative form of like exploration on the way things animate and whatnot, like, you're just in awe because it just keeps going and going and going and going. But you're not like taking detours to see, random logo designs and, other things like that. Everything's consistent. There's a clear focus. I know why I'm coming here, and I know exactly what I'm going to get when I hire this person. This is a great, great, great example of focus. If you don't listen to anything else in these news, definitely take note of this one if you're one of those case study people. Case studies are awesome. They're great. But what you usually see are people that use them backwards. And this is very important, and it's missed so many times, so please pay attention. When you use a case study, do not start the case study with your sketches. If that's your design and you're not showing actual visuals or anything, that's a whole nother story. I'm strictly talking when you have a finished product versus just sketches on paper. It's great to show your sketches. I think it's awesome, especially if that's like something that you really focus on. But if you start your case study with all these sketches and just blocks of text that are everywhere, no one's going to look at it because it's not interesting. It is not interesting. Show the finished product first. Show your finished designs first and walk backwards from there. So you end with the sketches and things. That's the best way to do it. Another alternative is to start with the final product on top still. That is always going to be the case. And then the very next thing is how you got there. So then you do the sketches and whatnot, and then you kind of tell that story, but you end again with the finished product. You don't tell the story from sketch to end product without showing the end product first, because that's just boring for the most part. It's just sketches. It's just blocks and scribbles. It should be boring, It's interesting to you because you did it and probably your team and whatnot, but if you just saw some random sketches on a table when you're walking by, not that interesting. Okay, now we're going to get into some maybe nots, okay? So maybe not do some of these things. Maybe. I'm not saying you shouldn't. I don't like saying people should and shouldn't, even though I might actually didn't say should in the earlier things. I don't think it did, but maybe it did. Besides the point. Don't hide your work behind text. It's not interesting when you do that. Now, the only time I let it slide is this is a great example of an awesome portfolio that shows a lot of personality. But they do a great job of just showing the links, the work behind text. But when you roll over it, you get previews, or at least something that makes it more interesting to click in. Otherwise, look at this. I'm not going to click on any of that because I don't know what any of it is. I mean, I'll click on Chantel because I think Chantel is amazing. I don't really know what the other stuff is. I mean, there's Adobe icons. That's pretty cool. I probably should know what some of these things are, but as of right now, I'm blanking. But you see what I mean? Like, I'm not going to click on them. It's not interesting. But if they were thumbnails or images or something, I would be more enticed to click and see the work and whatnot. But they do that on the rollover, which I think is great. I don't know how that works on mobile or anything like that. I'm just saying specifically for this one example right here on the web, this is an example of maybe don't hide your work behind text, but if you do, this is how you do it. That's all I'm saying. Contact forms. Oh, these are tricky. Another big thing where there's a lot of mistakes are on the contact forms. Contact forms are cool. All right? No problem with contact forms. So, hey, back up. No problems. If and only if they're done right and you can tell someone put thought into it. Otherwise, why on earth are you making it even harder to get in touch with you? This is the problem I have. So first I'm going to tell you that I think Megan did a great job here. So you have the input fields, project description, budgets, some ideal dates, super cool. I wish there was a way to add an attachment or something, but that's kind of hard to do. Maybe, I have no idea, I'm not a developer. But I like that Megan also included the email, because I'm always gonna just click on this email. I'm not gonna do a input field form thingy because look at how much work that is. I'm so used to just sending a bunch of emails, so I'm just gonna pop that open and just bam away on the keyboard, throw in my video attachments, my PDFs, everything I got, my proposals, whatever it is, because I can do that in an email really quickly. I can just copy and paste everything I got going on, whatever. You can copy and paste some stuff in there, but kind of not really. I can input my name and all that stuff. So if you're going to do a contact form, please include your email, just like Megan did. This is beautifully done. Otherwise, and oh man, like if you have a contact form, please make sure your submit button works. Please make sure your input fields work. Please make sure it includes everybody. Like you can include a last name with 2 characters, with 1 character. I mean, make sure it works for everything, for everyone. I mean, just put email in there. It's just so much easier. And also, if you have a contact form and you put everything in here, when you hit submit, when the client hits submit, make it do something cool. That's a perfect opportunity to show some personality. Don't just make it just go, hey, thanks. Do something. I don't know what, but do something more than just a simple. Usually when you hit submit, it just goes thanks. Or the little text come up, it's like, did it send? I don't know if it sent. Is it in my outbox? Oh, wait, I can't even check if it's in my outbox because it's a contact form. Don't show your skill splits. And I don't really have an example of that because it's usually the earlier designers that are trying to do this thing. And it was really popular a few years ago. I still see it every now and then. But this is the basic example that I can find without showing someone's work. I'm not here to knock anyone. I'm just here to talk about this stuff. So I'm not showing anyone's work if I'm dissing something. So that's why I brought up this, which has nothing to do with it, but basically it does. So like imagine where it says 3.1 and 1.8, here, and you got the little stat line of water. Imagine that's like your design tool right here. So you have 3 marks in your design tool, and this one's like copywriting. You got 2 marks in your copywriting, and then development. You've got 1 mark, and then whatever it is. You got all these like stat lines, and most of them have like percentages, and like, so you see like it goes to 100%, but then it just goes, but you're just showing like the color is filled with 80%. And I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. Are you saying that you're only 80% good at that design tool? Like what are we talking about right now? Like you just 10% of your time do writing? Like what are we talking about? Like, yes, talk about your skills, what you do, but you don't have to do the whole stat thing. Like it just complicates things way too much. And like, where did you come up with those numbers? Is it a fact? Are you lying to me? I don't get it. I just don't do it. Okay. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I immediately see that and I'm like, all these alarms start going off. Okay. We're going to get some questions. This was a question that I couldn't find again on Twitter. I think maybe it got deleted or something, but I remember seeing it. It was, what if I don't have any work to share? If you don't have any work to share, let me ask you, why is that? And you'll be like, oh, well, I don't have any clients. Why is that? No one's seen my work. I don't have any work to show. Why is that? I haven't created anything yet. Why not? I don't have an excuse. Wait, you just said no one's found your work because you haven't shown any work, because you haven't created any work. So you don't have any work. That seems like an awesome excuse to just go create something. Just create something for yourself. Have fun. If you want to do something for outdoor adventures type work, North Face, Patagonia, whoever, do something related to that. Show a whole portfolio of that. Look, my first job straight out of college was redesigning the NorthFace.com. But my whole portfolio, I went to design school. That's a whole nother topic. I spent all those years creating this portfolio around surfing, snowboarding, the outdoors, things like that. And that's the kind of work I was getting. Nixon.com, Billabong, Reef, the North Face, like Vans. That's the kind of work I was doing because that's the kind of work I was showing. And I had all that student work that was honestly just my own work fun outside of school. There's no excuses other than you just haven't found the time or you don't really know what to create because maybe you don't have specific hobbies or things that you enjoy. I don't know. Do you like reading books? Do something for books. Do you like, going for walks? Maybe do something for dog walkers. You get the idea. Okay, this is a good one. How do you make a portfolio where none of your products are shipped yet, but you've definitely worked on stuff? Is a common thing I see. Can you password protect stuff and avoid NDAs? Yes, but you gotta be careful. Ask your employers if it's okay to share some of this work. Then they'll be like, oh, but what, you're trying to get another job? And that's when it gets tricky, right? Just look at your contracts. Like if you're doing something for Tesla, they're about to announce a new car and you've designed this whole website around this new car. And a client comes to you, a competitor client or something, that they also want a car website or something, and you're thinking about jumping ship and going over there. Don't password protect your stuff and show them that. And like that's just morally wrong. And not only contractually wrong, but is morally wrong. Don't do that. If it really is that important and you really need that job, take a bit of time outside of your work and create something else. Show other stuff. I'm not giving any advice on this because there's so many contractual things and just moral things here. That's all for you to decide. Now, there's certain things that have already launched. but you're still under NDA, or that you're under contract, like that the client won't allow you to show. Like, for example, I don't even know if I'm allowed to say this, but I did a bunch of work for ESPN years ago, which was owned by Disney, and I wasn't allowed to show that stuff. And I still posted it at one time and got in trouble and had to take it down, of course. But if someone asked me about a certain type of work and I knew that was related, that's a different case where I can privately share that. I just can't publicly post it everywhere like, hey, I was a part of this type of thing, you know? I'm not giving any advice on this question. I have zero advice here. Just be smart. All right, this is a great one. How much do employers care about extensive case studies versus small project descriptions and having the work speak for itself? What's the ideal thing to start the site off with? Quick biography intro or go straight into the work? This is the thing right here. This is great. This is an awesome question. I think this had the most likes on Twitter. If you're doing cases, it all depends on the work, on the project, on what you want to do when you full-time. Like, there's just so many variables. It depends. It's not really a one-way answer. In my case, I never really did case studies. I'll show you. This is as broad as my case studies went. Like, let's look at this Lux Valet thing I did. You know, it's all blurry because this is like old school Behance. But like, hey, I did this thing for Lux. This is what the page looked like. You know, this was the challenge. These were the days that it took to film it. We did all this in 10 days. This was the website we created. You know, this is what I designed. Really no other text than that. These are some iterations. These are some photos we took. And the credits. I mean, we're going to give me an appreciation. This one for Husqvarna, motorcycles. The site was live. And I'm just showing design. I mean, you kind of got that kind of moved around. I mean, not in today's world where everything's animated now. And we got really cool prototyping tools, but dude, I'm just getting appreciations all day today. I'm just telling you what I did. It doesn't work for everyone. Let's show some work when I was really looking for work. Okay, let's show like some of the BloomNet stuff. Like, I'd put in just a little bit of description here. And then obviously just show the images and some attachments. And I mean, I got a lot of work from some of this stuff. You know, some of the stuff I did for Ship, talk just briefly about it, and then show some full-size images. Just wasn't my thing. And I think that's okay. Here's a perfect example of a really great case study that if I was to do one, I would do it this way, where it's more of an editorial piece. You know, just beautiful, beautiful story that you're going through with all these different elements and just great photos. You know, you just pull everything out. You pretend these are sketches, right? I mean, there are sketches, but, you know, works like UI sketches or whatever. You're just kind of going through how you got from point A to point B, you know, type of thing. But it's more of a story. I think Everest really does a great job of that too. This is a great site. Where they kind of go into detail on some of the stuff, you know, just showing these different areas. It's really just an editorial story. It's beautiful. Really, really well done. So if I was to do case studies, it would be like this, and this would get me really excited. That just wasn't what I was into. So it's proven, it's a fact, you could do either. It just depends on you, the type of work you're looking for, and you know, just how involved you want to be. Like, if you're an agency, this is definitely a way to go. I was a freelancer that just needed really quick work, and you know, I would just spit out stuff like this, so I could spit out stuff all the time. But case studies are incredible, but again, if done right. Now, when you go into how do you form the perfect site? Is it with an intro, quick bio, you know, or go straight into the work? It's tricky. Like, look at Justine's. Photo, personality, big name, lots of white space, and just a bio. But it's really, really well written, and there's links there. And as soon as you scroll down, you get to the work. Like, immediately, bio, work. Okay? That's a great example. Now, if I was to scroll down and there's still more text, still more text, still haven't seen the work, but okay, now I'm finally getting to the work. I think that's a mistake. Now this is something that I really like, where you just have the summary and then like you have the work kind of peeking out. I think that's the ideal situation. If I was to design it, that's the way I would do it. So I would have Justine's site here just like this, but I would have the work kind of poking out. That's just me personally. I want to know what you do, who you are, and work. And if I could see all those three things at a glance without doing anything, that's a huge win for me. If I could do all three of those things, even just on a barely little scroll, I'm still good. If I have to do all those things on like 10 scrolls or something, I'm not that happy on this website. You can do anything you want. You can do absolutely anything you want. But that's just kind of the ideal thing, okay? I'm not sure I really understand this question, but it had, these could be bot likes though. They have a lot of likes. How having a profile picture affects the hiring process and portfolio reviews from potential employers. Shoot, I don't know that I fully understand the question, so I think it always adds value. You know, seeing the person, seeing who they are, whether it's showing emotion or not, it's just a cool avatar type thing. I think it adds a lot of value. I mean, people like to see people. There's connection there, you know? It's like, it's really powerful stuff. Otherwise, it's just, you see work and text, and it's like, you know, it's cool. But again, they don't always hire just the work. It's usually the work and the person, because the person has to fit in too. But not their looks or anything, has nothing to do with that. But I can understand how some people be uncomfortable with, you know, just putting themselves out there. So again, you could just show your personality through your words. It doesn't have to be your photos. But I mean, if you have an avatar online that's showing your face, I think it's cool. You know, I think it adds value. If you have you know, a company icon or something, I think it's a little less value, but still valuable. Just remember that people like to see people, but that doesn't mean it's a bad thing if you don't include a photo. So if you're asking if it helps, probably, but also maybe not. I don't know. So what if I don't know how to code? Again, just use Behance, Semplice, Dribbble, WordPress, Squarespace, Webflow, Wix. I mean, the whole thing, you know, whatever they are, you can easily put up a website in no time. I mean, in a day. You really can. It's that easy these days. Just remember, the moment you stop sharing your work is the moment work stops coming, because you're not putting yourself out there. I mean, you can't expect people just to find you. If you're honestly looking for work, you need a portfolio. You need to be sharing your work almost anywhere you can. Otherwise, you're just kind of lost out there. I mean, that's all I've got today, but check out these adventure logbooks from Dan Cederholm. These are super cool. He started a new little company. I think it's great. Look at this. Oh, shoot. Look at this card. Super dope. Really nice design. Really great notebooks. The Hood Sisters created a cool freelance book. I'm sure most of you have seen this by now. Freelance and business and stuff. Lot of knowledge in there. A lot of knowledge. Epic Currents. We got our event coming up. Breckenridge. Check. We got our cool stickers in. Sticker Robot stickers. We only do the best stickers. Sticker Robot. Breckenridge, Colorado. Let's go snowboarding, skiing, March 21st, 22nd. Be there. These are really cool cards. I don't know why I'm showing you this. I'm not really into cards. I'm really into magic tricks. I'll show you a magic trick one day. But these are pretty dope. Cool kid on them. I don't know why I'm showing you stuff. Venture Onward. They had like a whole, look at I bought it because of the packaging and because of magic tricks. Because of the packaging. So I don't even know if I can't even see myself when I'm doing these videos. That's all I got. So other than that, y'all have a good day, good night, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good nap, good sleepy time, good nighty time. Have a good time. I'll talk to you later.